Hello everyone, welcome to Tech Sharmit. In this session, we are going to talk about another very interesting topic related to medical coding, where we will be discussing about the sense of hearing or audition. Okay, so by the end of this session, you will be able to understand what is audition, what is sense of hearing, what are the primary organs that plays an important role in the sense of hearing. Okay, so these all things we will be discussing. But before we proceed further with this session, I would like to recommend you to please go and check out the previously released session first, because they all are in proper sequence and sync. So if you follow it sequentially, then it would be much more easier for you to understand the ongoing topic. Because for time being, we are just mainly focusing on what is audition and the sense of hearing. Okay. And for that, you can also refer the Tech Sharmit digital course book, which is freely available in the description box. There you will find thousands of sessions available in both Hindi as well as English language. So without any language barrier, you can easily consume the content. And in case if you have any queries or questions related to that, then feel free to reach out to me through comment section. I would be more than happy to answer all your queries there. Okay. Alright, so let's get started and see what is audition. So audition is simply a medical term that is used to denote the sense of hearing. Okay, and you can say it's a special sense because it allows the body to detect and interpret sound waves from the environment by converting them into nerve impulses that are sent to the brain for processing. Okay, so that is the reason why we are calling it as a special sense. Now, if we talk about the word audition, so it comes from the Latin word that is audire, which means to hear. Okay, so we can conclude that audition means the special sense of hearing, detection and interpretation of sound wave. Now, what are the primary organs of hearing? So the primary organ of hearing is ear, of course, because ear is the thing that really help us to hear the things, of course, right? So if we talk about its internal parts, so there are mainly ear is divided into three parts: external ear, middle ear and inner ear. Okay, so location wise, external ear is present outside the skull, and the main structure is auricle, ear canal, tympanic membrane. Second thing is middle ear, which is inside the skull, air filled space, which include ossicle, oval window, Eustachian tube. Then we have inner ear, which is present in deep inside the temporal bone, like cochlea, vestibule, semicircular canals. Okay, so these are the all primary organ for hearing. The main organ is ear, and it is divided into three parts. Now let's try to understand how the actual hearing works. Okay, so it's a quite simple process. So to explain it in a simple terms, I have divided into 8 steps, and one by one I'll walk you through these all 8 steps. So first is step 1, where sound enters the external ear, and then sound waves enter through the auricle and travel down to the ear canal. Then we have tympanic membrane vibrates. Step 2, where like sound waves actually strikes the tympanic membrane, which is also known as eardrum, and cause it to vibrate. After that, ossicle amplify the vibration. That means these vibration pass through the 3 ossicles, which is Malleus, Incus and Stapes, which later amplify these sound waves. Okay, then we have step 4 for vibration and enter the inner ear. So these steps transmit vibration through the oval window into the fluid field cochlea. Okay, and then we have step number 5, fluid movement in cochlea, where the vibration create fluid waves in the scala vestibuli and scala tympani of the cochlea. This is just a fluid movement. Okay, then we have basilar membrane moves, which actually here like fluid waves cause the basilar membrane to move. Different frequency cause movement at different location along the membrane. Okay, then we have hair cells that are stimulated. So movement of the basilar basilar membrane blends the hair cell in the organ of Corti and generate the nerve impulses. And at the end, signals travel to the brain. Nerve impulses travel through the cochlear branch of CN8 to the brainstem, and then the primary auditory cortex in temporal lobe, where sound is consciously perceived. Okay, if still this thing is not clear to you, do one thing. You can check out the one session where we have talked about the anatomy of ear. There we have explained everything in detail. Okay, this is just for the revision purpose, because we are mainly focusing on the sense of hearing. But if you really want to understand like what all bones are there in ear, right, and how it works, right, so that you can check in the previous session. All right, now we will talk about some sound frequency and the hearing losses. So if someone asks you about sound frequency, so human ear can detect frequencies between 20 Hz to 20,000 Hz. And low frequency sound are bass, like that detects by hair cells at apex tip of the cochlea. Then we have high frequency sound, treble, that detects by the hair cell at the base of cochlea near the oval window. And at the end we have last thing, that is most speeches occur between 500 Hz to 4000 Hz. Okay, so this is the normal range. So we understood what is audition, how it works, and the sound frequency. Now let's talk about the types of hearing loss. So mainly there are 4 types of hearing loss. First is conducive hearing loss, where sound cannot pass through the outer or the middle ear, and the cause of it is the earwax blockage, perforated eardrum, fluid in the middle ear, ossicle damage, osteolosis or osteosclerosis. Okay, and permanence wise, like it's often reversible, that can treat the cause. After that we have sensorineural hearing loss, that damage the cochlea or auditory nerve, that cause noise exposure, aging, infection, medication, genetic condition. So these are the reason. Okay, noise exposure, aging, infection, medication, genetic condition. And permanence wise, it's usually permanent. Okay, so it's a permanent thing. Then we have mixed hearing loss, which is a combination of conducive and sensorineural, both outer and middle ear problem, and cochlear nerve damage. So it basically depends on the cause, if it is fixable or not. Then we have central hearing loss, which is a problem in the brain, auditory processing center, stroke, tumor, brain injury, depends on the cause. Okay, so this is just an overview for the all kind of hearing loss. So as a medical coder, you should know about these things and also the disorders. Okay, so let's talk about disorder also. So these are the some common hearing disorder or ear orders that you will see while documenting the codes. Okay, the first condition is otitis media, which is nothing but the inflammation and infection of middle ear, most common in children, caused by bacteria or viruses. Symptoms include ear pain, ostalgia, fever, or hearing loss. Second thing is otitis externa, which is inflammation of the external ear canal, also called as swimmer's ear. Why? Because it is associated with the water exposure. Then we have otosclerosis, which is an abnormal new bone formation around the stapes. So as I mentioned earlier, like in anatomy of ear, we talked about stapes on what all bones are there, right? So you can relate this thing now. And other than 3, if one new abnormal bone formation start, then it causes progressive conducing hearing loss, that is treated with the stapedectomy. Okay. Then we have presbycusis, which is nothing but an age-related problem of the hearing loss that gradually decline in hearing by both ears, most common cause of hearing loss in the elderly. And then we have noise-induced hearing, which is permanent sensorineural hearing loss from prolonged exposure to sound and loud noise. Remember, never use earbuds or earphones on high sound, otherwise you will face this kind of issue, that is noise induced hearing. Okay, so always use it within a limit. Your mobile suggests that this is the appropriate sound, don't go beyond that, so just listen to it. Okay, all right, so yeah, we are done with this audition and the sense of hearing, and I hope it is clear to all of you. Now we'll talk about today's question, and today's question is bit interesting, and question is, what is otolith organ? So you just need to think about this thing, like what is otolith organ, and just share your expertise in the comment section so that others can take a reference from it. Okay, but in case if you don't know, don't worry, you can refer the previous session, there we have already discussed in detail, so from there you can find out the answer and then you can share your knowledge. Okay, because when you share it frequently, it also gives me the notification, and then I got the notification that you are referring these series, and on the basis of that only I will release more and more new session to this playlist. So if you want more session, more practical session, please do share your knowledge in the comment section. So yeah, that's all for today. See you in the next session with new topics. So thank you for watching Tech Sharmit.